One of the most famous locations in all of Waterdeep is the Yawning Portal Tavern, but it also serves as a gateway to something far darker and more dangerous below the city.
It is much more than a mere tavern, let me tell you. So located in the castle ward of Waterdeep, not too far from the harbor, is the Yawning Portal Tavern. It was built by a former adventurer, a human named Durnan. And he kind of runs the place still, many centuries later. Pretty good for a human. So Durnan chose the location for a very specific reason. And that is because when he first came to Waterdeep, he and his buddy Mert found this sunken tower in the ground, which turned out to be Hallister's old tower built in the city, which basically fell into the earth, creating this shaft, the outer shell of the tower forming the shell of the shaft. They went down into Hallister's old tower, and it led to the first level of a great dungeon complex called Undermountain. And the two of them delved deeply, came back, surprisingly, with a pile of treasure. Mert went off and built a mansion with it in another part of the city. Durnan took his trove and built the Yawning Portal Tavern. And the reason why he felt compelled to do this is because something touched him in Undermountain, basically skewed his mind and made him obsessive to the point where he felt like he couldn't leave. But at the same time, what his mind told him was, you can make a lot of profit by building a tavern over this entrance to this great dungeon and charging adventurers who want to descend down into it. So every adventurer who goes down that well into Undermountain has to pay Durnan gold to do it. And this has been Durnan's bread and butter for the last several hundred years. He also found magic in Undermountain that sustained his life beyond its natural expectancy, much like his friend Mert did. And so for a very, very long time now, he has been charging adventurers to use the well to get down in Undermountain. Now that well sits in the tap room of the Yawning Portal. So it's this 40-foot diameter, rough brick shaft going down into darkness. And he's built a winch over it with a rope to lower people up and down to expedite their journey. Most of the people who go down never return, and Durnan doesn't care as long as he gets his money. And people sit in tables all around this well shaft, drink their beer and eat their food and watch people play darts and tell their stories, and adventurers will just go down periodically, lowered by Durnan, and disappear into this well, and people will take bets on whether or not they ever return. And that's part of the business here, and that's kind of the show that Durnan is running. And so the Yawning Portal is this place where adventurers gather, often just to get news, but also to make their first or final descent into Undermountain with Durnan's blessing.
It's an interesting concept.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing you'd expect. You'd think, oh, if I was an adventurer, I'd do that. If I found an entrance to a dungeon that had basically no end to it, I could monetize this. And Durnan basically just seized on that. He is opportunistic. I think that the Yawning Portal is kind of like a default starting location for a lot of adventures having to do with Undermountain. And it is actually the location we chose to start the adventure Dragon Heist. Knowing that the characters would be sort of sent off from there out into the city and come back at some point to find out what the heck is down that well anyway.
Thank you, Chris Perkins, for being on D&D Beyond. We are the official digital tool set for 5th edition D&D. You can order Dragon Heist on dndbeyond.com. Thank you for watching.